Jenny had been looking forward to this weekend for weeks. It was the first time she and her boyfriend, Mark, were going to spend an entire weekend together without any interruptions. They had been dating for nearly 6 months, and while they enjoyed their time together, their busy schedules often kept them apart. One Friday afternoon, as she prepared for their weekend getaway, Jenny received a text from Mark. "Can't wait to see you tonight. I have a surprise for you." Her heart raced with curiosity. She quickly finished packing her bag and headed to meet him. When Jenny arrived at the small cabin by the lake that Mark had rented, her breath was taken away. The cozy structure was surrounded by tall trees, with a stunning view of the shimmering water. Mark was waiting outside, a wide grin on his face. "Surprise!" he exclaimed, pulling her into a warm embrace. "I thought this would be the perfect place for us to relax and reconnect." "It's beautiful, Mark. I love it," Jenny replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. They spent the evening unpacking and setting up the cabin. As the sun began to set, they lit a fire in the fireplace and settled down with some hot cocoa. The atmosphere was intimate, with the flickering flames casting soft shadows around the room. After a while, Mark suggested they have dinner. He had prepared a lovely meal of pasta and garlic bread, complete with a salad and a bottle of wine. They set the table by the window, where they could watch the sunset. As they ate, they shared stories about their lives, their dreams, and their plans for the future. Jenny felt a deep connection with Mark, one that seemed to grow stronger with every moment they spent together. "Can you believe how lucky we are?" Mark asked, gazing into her eyes. "We found each other at just the right time." "I know," Jenny smiled. "I've never felt this way about anyone before." After dinner, they decided to take a walk by the lake. The sky was clear, and stars twinkled above them like diamonds. They walked hand in hand, enjoying the serenity of the night. "Look at that one," Jenny pointed at a particularly bright star. "It's like it's shining just for us." Mark stopped and pulled her closer. "You know, I've always wanted to find a star and name it after someone special. Maybe we could find one tonight." Jenny laughed. "That's so sweet. What would you name it?" "Jenny," he said softly, looking into her eyes, "because you're my guiding light." Back at the cabin, the fire was still crackling, creating a warm ambience. Mark reached for Jenny's hand, pulling her onto the couch beside him. They talked and laughed, but soon the conversation shifted to something deeper. "Jenny, I've been thinking a lot about us," Mark said, his tone serious. "I really care about you. I think we have something special." "I feel the same way, Mark," she replied, her heart pounding. "I can't imagine my life without you." He leaned in closer, their faces just inches apart. In that moment, everything else faded away. Mark gently brushed a strand of hair behind her ear and kissed her softly. The kiss deepened, filled with the passion that had been building between them. As the night went on, they explored each other's hearts and minds. The chemistry between them was electric. They shared dreams and fears, laying bare their souls. When eventually they found themselves in the bedroom, the soft glow of candlelight illuminating the space. The air was thick with anticipation. Mark looked into Jenny's eyes, asking for permission with his gaze. She nodded, her heart racing. They embraced, their lips finding each other again, this time with a sense of urgency. Clothes were shed and they melted into one another, exploring the new territory of their intimacy. The next morning, Jenny woke to the soft light filtering through the window. She turned to see Mark still asleep beside her, a peaceful smile on his face. She felt a rush of happiness and contentment. As she quietly slipped out of bed to prepare breakfast, she reflected on the night before. It had been magical, and she felt closer to Mark than ever. When Mark finally woke up, he found Jenny in the kitchen flipping pancakes. The smell wafted through the cabin, making his stomach growl. Good morning, Chef, he teased, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind. Good morning. I hope you're hungry, she smiled, feeling his warmth against her. After breakfast, they decided to spend the day exploring the area. They hiked through the nearby trails, discovering hidden waterfalls and breathtaking views. Laughter filled the air as they stumbled over roots and rocks, their playful banter echoing in the woods. In the afternoon, they rented a canoe and paddled across the lake, the water sparkling under the sun. They took turns steering, enjoying the simple pleasure of being together in nature. That evening they returned to the cabin, tired but happy. As they settled in front of the fire, Jenny felt a sense of peace wash over her. Tonight let's make it special, Mark suggested. We could share our hopes for the future. Jenny nodded, excited by the idea. They took turns sharing their dreams, their ambitions, and what they hoped for in their relationship. I want us to keep growing together, Mark said earnestly. I want to build a life with you. Me too, Jenny replied, her heart full. I can see a future with us, Mark. I really can. As the fire crackled softly, they made promises to support each other in their dreams, to be there through thick and thin, and to never take their love for granted. Mark took Jenny's hands in his expression serious. I want you to know that I'm committed to this, to us. No matter what happens, I'm here. Saw tears welled in Jenny's eyes. I feel the same way. You mean the world to me, Mark. They leaned in for another kiss, sealing their promises with a tender embrace. Epilogue. A new beginning. As the weekend came to a close, Jenny felt a mix of emotions, joy for the time they had spent together, and sadness that it was ending. But she knew this was just the beginning. As they drove home, hand in hand, she felt hopeful for their future. Their love had deepened in ways she hadn't imagined, and she was excited for all the adventures that lay ahead. No matter where life took them, Jenny knew they would face it together with love as their guiding star. Sue.